This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop. This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody. And of course, Lindsay Granger joins us again.
Once again.
Becoming a staple.
All right. Thank you for having me, guys.
Don't be a stranger, Granger.
Oh, that's one of the oldest ones in the book, but I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Classic.
Thanks.
All right. Tori's mad because she doesn't get an introduction each time. And everybody.
Tori's here.
There's
Thank you
Tori.
guys. Thank you.
And the same reaction. All right, let's get into some stories because we were talking about this before the show, and I'm sure you guys are at home as well. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is getting a ton of criticism right now, and it's over this video from the Super Bowl parade. So a photographer was going to take a pic of Matthew and his wife when she fell off the stage, which was 6 to 8 feet, by the way. Matthew reacts to the fall, then turns his back and walks away. His wife, meantime, rushes over to help, as you can see in the video. The photographer did suffer a fractured spine. Now the Rams and the Staffords are saying they'll cover the medical costs as well as replace the equipment that was broken because of the fall. In addition, she does have a GoFundMe page that's up to $48,000 right now.
And I think that's why the Rams jumped in like, okay, well, she's making a GoFundMe. Let's not get sued. Let's get ahead of this and pay for everything. So that's just a thought that I have, that they're trying to get ahead of the story. But as far as him, yes, he needs to show some empathy. He turned around, busted U-turn. He could have been drunk. But like reaching down 4 feet like his wife did, I appreciate that, but that's not helping somebody with a broken spine. Also, jumping down there and touching somebody with a broken spine is also not going to help them probably. And people who actually are medical experts are going to be like, why did you touch her?
Yeah, that would be great if the initial reaction wasn't to just turn around and act like it never even happened. I mean, that's quite a few steps to be taking based on the fact that you saw a human being fall backwards off a 6 to 8 foot ledge, and your first reaction was to turn around and act like you didn't see it. I don't care about anything else that comes after that. It's just the idea that someone was in distress and you turned around, pulled away from your wife, and acted like it didn't happen.
You want to be judged by your drunkest moment, because I think that on your celebration day, you're allowed to get as drunk as you want to. You want somebody to say, oh, that's how Erica behaved on that moment, and that's the summation of our whole character.
I think that when you're drunk, it brings out the most of who you are.
I agree, and with Erica. And again, we don't know. It's alleged that he was drunk. He was seen chugging from a 1942 tequila bottle. Tom Brady,
a couple of those does the trick.
Tom Brady said mix in water, so you could see him drinking some water there. I think he was probably overserved and happy. But I agree with Erica. When you're overserved, your real instinct comes out. And it wasn't his second or third step. It was when he saw her fall, he goes, oh my God, and almost takes his wife's hand away. Watch. She reaches out like, oh my God, and he just dismisses her and tries to get out of the picture. To me, that's a cold, ice cold way, and very chilling as your first instinct when someone falls.
I think that's a little dramatic.
I don't.
Ice cold and chilling.
It is.
The problem would have been fixed had he gone.
Dude, your reaction is like this.
Exactly.
So let's say I do this, ready? If I drop my thing, everyone's reaction is to look. His reaction to look away says
his reaction was, oh my God.
My first reaction when I'm drunk is to do karaoke. Doesn't mean I'm a singer.
Good analogy.
I just think it's odd that is, he didn't know the cameras were on him. It was a private moment, and he got out of there. That says something about a man.
To me, it says something about the phony, like, oh, let me reach down, even though I know I can't reach down 8 feet and grab you.
She was shocked. That's what you do. You reach out like, oh my God, what can I do?
You don't run to it. Like, you see somebody in distress. See, that's the reason why people don't yell things. They tell you to yell fire if you're being assaulted, because a lot of 50% of the people are going to come to your aid, and 50% of the people are going to act like they didn't hear you. I do think that it's a character flaw.
And I think Matthew Stafford's wife is the one who told him, we got to pay.
She does have a podcast. I don't know the name, but I listen to a podcast where it's at the same studio, and I have no information on it, so I'm just pulling this out. But I would like to listen to that podcast and hear her explanation of the chain of events leading up to
because she's the 50% that runs towards the distress.
Right.
And she knows her husband's the 50% that runs away.
Maybe she's that, you know what I mean? They got a thing working.
Ugh.
I was about to say, isn't it a unit when you're married? This is what I hear, that the judgment is for the whole couple. It's like,
I'm here to represent.
If Anthony helped out, I would say, oh, Erica and Anthony are a good couple.
No, that sucks. That sucks. Because in that moment, some things tell you more about people than others. I don't think she should be judged for what he did. I mean, she was really the one that was trying to at least she turned and tried to do something.
I think everybody's having the same conversation, right? They're split on this one. How about this next one? Kelly Clarkson wants to change her name. Why would you say that? Just rolls off the tongue. Kelly recently filed legal documents to change her name to Kelly Brienne, which is her middle name. Now, it's not clear if she will change her name professionally or if the Kelly Clarkson Show will become the Kelly Brienne Show. Kelly's currently involved in a bitter divorce from her ex, Brandon Blackstock, and last year she was declared legally single and also successfully changed her name back to Kelly Clarkson. I didn't even realize she changed it to Kelly Blackstone in the first place.
I didn't either, and I don't know if this sounds horrible, but as you're reading this, I'm thinking to myself, it's just a really bad move for a brand. I know she's a human, and I don't want to sound like a horrible robot, but Kelly Clarkson means something immediately. There's currency to that name. There isn't to Kelly Brienne. Now, I also know that like Tina Turner wanted to keep her name because it meant something to her, so names mean something, and maybe Kelly wants to split, and I'm being pretty rough, but I would not change my name if I'm at that level.
How do you change your name when you're literally a part of an iconic movie line?
Exactly.
Kelly Clarkson.
That's
you know what? I mean, she can't. She's forever Kelly Clarkson. Just like we didn't know that she was Kelly Blackstone for that minute.
Yeah.
We not gonna know that she Kelly Brienne.
No.
We gonna know her as Kelly Clarkson.
My first thought is like, okay, all the talk show hosts have like Oprah, just Ellen, she should just be Kelly, but then I was like, dang, you know, you got other Kellys on morning TV. So it's getting a little sloppy, so maybe she should just stick with Kelly Clarkson before people get confused.
Is that rude to say? Like, to
I mean,
her?
Clarkson's her actual last name.
No.
That's why I don't think it's rude. It's not like keep your husband's last name.
Okay.
So I don't know why we're getting, I mean, it just seems like a lot of knee-jerk reaction when she's in the middle of a divorce rather than like, I truly want to embrace this new name.
Yeah, Tori, that answer was ice cold of you.
At least I wouldn't turn like Stafford. Sorry.
Anyways, that movie line, 40-Year-Old Virgin, classic.
Right.
Classic.
Exactly. You can't change it. Just dye your hair red.
It solves everything. And St. Patrick's Day is around the corner. Works for both. Speaking of bitter divorces, nobody like that St.
No,
Patrick's
it's
Day joke?
green.
I feel like I offended somebody.
You said turn it right.
I don't know. I shouldn't have talked about
No.
anybody's hair. I'm a disgusting person. I'm ice cold. So Brad Pitt is suing his ex, Angelina Jolie, for selling her stake in a French vineyard. The couple bought a controlling interest in Chateau Miraval in 2008 and got married there 6 years later and agreed not to sell their stakes without the other's permission. But Brad claims Angelina sold her share to a spirits manufacturer owned by a powerful Russian businessman. Ooh, now Brad is in cahoots with the Russian.
No, but it's the first step we've seen actively from Brad. So we've seen a lot of assertiveness from Angelina in this. There's been a lot of acrimony between them, and she's asserted that he's done certain things. Brad has stayed mostly silent in interviews and anything. This is the first move we've seen he made. It seems like this one is a winner for him. If they have a contract not to sell and she sold, this is why he's stepping out on this one.
See, I'm a little concerned about the word agreed. Like, was this pillow talk
Was it
agreed,
oral
or
agreement?
was
Right,
it with attorneys? And that's the reason why you should have everything written down in paper. When it's not a thing, see, when it becomes a thing, now we have a thing.
I think that's what Brad's lawyers said too about this. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it was in paper, you're right, or if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think if it's a contract, then it's a contract.
Yeah.
Like that's what they agreed upon. If not, then she don't want the winery anymore.
But it's just breaking it all down, yes, it sounds very confusing and things, but Brad sold my share of my winery.
I know, it's like, no,
you know?
top level problem.
Yeah, it's like,
You're
when
right.
you look at it from stepping out, it's like, wow.
It's true.
All right,
It's
coming
true.
up on DBL, a first look at Viola Davis as Michelle Obama in a new TV series. Find out the other A-list actresses who are playing former first ladies. Plus, a new movie about Elvis's life is getting a lot of buzz, and we got a sneak peek coming next.
Closed captioning provided by
So much is happening live next week on DBL. You're not going to want to miss a day. Real Housewife Heather Dubrow, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Julie Chen Moonves, David Arquette, food author Adam Richman, and 8-time medalist Apollo Ono, only on DBL.
Oh, it's black stock. I definitely said black stock.
3 first ladies are followed.
Just so you know.
Tori, say it's black stock, not black stone.
Kelly Black. Oh, Brian. What's his first name?
Black stock. I said black
Brandon
stone.
Blackstock. You got it. It was Brandon Blackstock.
name jacked up.
Not
We're like,
Blackstone.
Wait, what did I say?
Tori said Brian.
No, it's Brandon. It's Brandon.
Brandon Blackstock.
Nobody likes him anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't care about it. We don't have to fix
But we messed it up. We messed it up.
Just so you know, Austin Butler is the guy who's playing Elvis, and he's kind of hip in like the younger community.
Okay.
Yes, and he's dating Kaya Gerber, and once dated Vanessa Hudgens, and he's got this really Austin Butler who plays Elvis. In the movie we're about to discuss, because I'm a professional.
I thought I was interested.
You're a professional?
Yeah.
I know, I mean, like,
Anyway.
in movies?
It turns out his look, if you watch him, because sometimes you know me, I'm pretty a stickler when it's like the Ricardos and it doesn't really look like.
I disagree, by the way, about the Ricardo sentiments.
I don't
Great, excellent film.
It was a terrible film.
I mean, apparently you get Tori's Rotten Tomatoes over there.
Well, yeah, because I minored in film.
Tomatoes.
He has a great lip, and when he sings, he's got this great thing going.
She can't act.
And also, the director of Elvis is
She said that first.
Baz Luhrmann, who did Moulin Rouge, who did Romeo and Juliet. I'm just getting insulted over
Baz
there.
Luhrmann
as
has
I'm
the best college speech. If you want to get motivated, listen to his speech.
It's not
to college.
his speech. A woman wrote it in an article, and he put music behind it, and it's incredible.
Yeah, with like
sunscreen.
It's like exactly.
I know
exactly.
It's
You know,
from a woman who
that
wrote
is
in
the best
1992 in the Chicago Tribune.
Okay, well, I'm offended. I thought Baz Luhrmann was a genius.
Luhrmann.
But yes, wear sunscreen. Listen to that. That is a beautiful.
It's the most beautiful
You're
thing.
gonna go do 20 things in one day. It's true. I was like, yes.
For the shoot, and nobody's gonna remember me. I need to get back to who I really am.
Yeah, welcome back. That's the first look at the new Elvis movie, simply called Elvis, and it's from Baz Luhrmann, who also directed Moulin Rouge, also the new Great Gatsby.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Tom Hanks also stars as Elvis's manager, the Colonel. We're going to talk about that after. The Colonel, take a look.
Hilarious.
I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley. Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready. Ready to fly.
Tomorrow, all of America will be talking about Elvis Presley.
Try not to move around so much during the tape.
I can't move.
I got to tell you, I kind of like that twist on what they're doing here, and I do not like the word Colonel the way it's spelled.
You just spell it like a popcorn kernel.
Listen, we're canceling things to make them better. I want this on the list. I want Colonel on the list, and let's just correct our wrong and spell it correctly. It looks like it does look like
Colonel comes from a beautiful etymology of a Latin root, column, which means of soldiers. And you need to understand the history of words to understand how important they are in the spread.
Where's Al so you can go to sleep? I can't do it to say it.
Thank you.
I don't mean to take away from the movie because it does look.
It looks
pretty
rad.
cool, and I like the spin.
As someone who probably wouldn't watch an Elvis movie, I'm watching that because I love Baz Luhrmann, and the way that he interprets film is just like a genius, beautiful. You know, it's one of those kind of like very unique styles. So I cannot wait to see that.
And you said Great Gatsby right before we started that segment, and I love that twist on
Right,
it.
the way it's not like all fairy tale, the way it's filmed darkly. He has
and
like a really great
that
style.
For some reason, got me more interested.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is no one else creeped out by Elvis?
He's got a weird, if we could play that clip again, it's kind of like deadpan-ish.
No, I mean like
In general?
just in general.
Oh, really? I thought you meant the
mean,
look.
Elvis, was not the king of originality, for starters. Elvis was like one of the original appropriators, and he also was a pedophile.
Uh-oh. That took a turn.
Cancel Christmas on Elvis.
Elvis brought his 14-year-old child bride over from West Germany when he was 24 years old. Priscilla was a 14-year-old.
All right.
I'm just saying.
I wonder.
Just saying.
No, first of all, I completely agree with you. I wonder if Baz Luhrmann will look at that and play it in this dark piece as Elvis, which a lot of people think stole directly from black rock and roll, black music. Because he did. And I'm wondering if that is part of this, and if that's actually part of the darkness, and maybe the Priscilla thing too. Baz Luhrmann doesn't shy away from like real deep things. I would hope they at least mention or discuss that, because if not, you're really leaving out an enormous part of the history. She's absolutely right.
Yeah, no.
It's interesting who we cancel and who we don't when all parties are disgusting that are pedophiles. So that's a good point to bring up that no one talks about that with Elvis.
I'm just throwing it out there that it's kind of a weird thing to gloss over.
It landed. All right. We're also getting a first look at Viola Davis as Michelle Obama in the new Showtime series called The First Lady. Take a look.
I can't have you backseat driving.
They want to turn me into a black Martha Stewart? I will pick my team, choose my causes, understood?
So here's a look at Viola next to the real Michelle Obama, of course. And we saw there is a scene with Michelle posing for her official portrait. Wow. Michelle Pfeiffer also stars as former First Lady Betty Ford. And Gillian Anderson portrays Eleanor Roosevelt.
Wow.
Wow, a lot of it silenced the crowd.
We are floored. Erica?
Well, you know, I love me some Michelle and I love me some Viola, so I am watching.
So where is this going to be in the awards type of deal here? So
Emmys? It's a miniseries.
Okay, it's a miniseries.
And
can I just be controversial a little bit? I feel like they always pick like a couple people to play every part. Like Will Smith got to play Serena's dad. Viola Davis got to play Michelle. Like I feel like they could have gave other people different tries. And I love Will Smith and Viola. I just want to say like they could like mix it up a little bit.
Well, maybe Michelle picked Viola.
True, if that's the case. Then
and
that's a conversation.
Gillian Anderson has had a really long. She was Margaret Thatcher. She was she's becoming this old lady actress.
Thanks for that deep insight.
I'm sure she appreciates that.
She does.
Lady actress.
She does.
You should tweet her that. Coming up on DBL, our interview with the talented Candace Cameron Bure. That's next.
American troops are staged in Eastern Europe to assist its allies if Russia attacks Ukraine. President Joe Biden said the U.S. sent equipment into Ukraine and warned it would defend its allies.
And make no mistake, the United States will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power. An attack against one NATO country is an attack against all of us.
Over the last week, Google search trends showed a spike in people asking about Ukraine's status in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. So, let's verify. Is Ukraine a NATO member? Our sources are NATO, the Brookings Institution, the Embassy of Ukraine to the United Kingdom, and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. NATO is an alliance of countries that started after World War II. It started with 12 countries and has expanded to 30 members across North America and Europe, including 5 that share borders with Russia. In order to join, existing members of NATO must unanimously vote in the new country, and the nation must agree to 14 articles. Article 5 is the most frequently referenced because it requires every country to collectively respond to an attack on any NATO member. In 2008, Ukraine applied to join NATO with the support of Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama. However, there was resistance from France and Germany, and the application didn't go anywhere. So, no, Ukraine is not a member of NATO, although its application is pending, and it still wants to join the alliance. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
She's sharing more Hallmark magic with her new film, Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries, and earlier we spoke with Candace Cameron Bure about the loss of her TV dad, Bob Saget. Let's take a look.
Now, before we get started, we did want to all share our condolences for the loss of your friend and Full House dad, Bob Saget. There was a lot of news about your dear friend's passing. You recently opened up about your last text message with him. What was said that makes it so special to you?
There was so much that was said because Bob wrote, he would like voice text. So it just looked like pages and pages of text. But, you know, one of the very last things he said was, "I love you." And he said, I'm so, it makes me happy when I make you laugh. And he did. He made me laugh in his last text message.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, that was very special. Candace, I want to apologize. Last time you were on the show, I called you Cam, like we had this cool Like a little back and forth going. My wife was very excited.
You're good, man.
My wife was excited you were on. My question was about Cameron Matheson. No excuses. I screwed up. Apologies on my end.
It's been haunting.
It has. It really has. But now when I see you in the streets, what's up, Cam? All right, so let's get to the question. Your brother Kirk starred in Growing Pains, of course, while you were on Full House. What do you remember most about guest starring in each other's shows?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was on a few episodes of Growing Pains, too. I played Ben's friend. I loved it because I did those episodes before I started Full House, and I just loved being on a sitcom. And I didn't actually do a lot of scenes with my brother, but I remember when he came over to Full House, that was really fun because I was like really proud that my big brother was on the show that I was on now, and he was, you know, this. All the girls loved him, and you know, he was this famous teen idol. So I was very, very proud of that.
Oh, that's nice. I was interested in this. Your daughter, Natasha, talked about having a very famous mom on Olivia Jade's podcast. She said she always felt like just your daughter. I thought that was a really interesting thing she said. How do you think this shaped your relationship?
We've talked about it a lot because I know how that feels very, very much. Of course, a parent to a child is always concerned about that relationship and them being in the shadow when you do have famous parents. But I know how it felt because of my brother being a big star and being under his shadow for some time. So we've always had a really open dialogue, and that's why I respect Natasha's decision so much to really forge her own path, her own career. There's very few times that she'll actually work with me, and she did on this Aurora Teagarden movie and I've asked her other times, and she's like, nope, like, thank you, Mom, but I wanna do this on my own, and I wanna prove myself to everyone, and so I really respect her for that.
Strong girl.
It sounds like you did a hell of a job being a parent. That's what it sounds like to me over here.
Thank you.
You know, I think it's so cool because you're sharing the spotlight with Natasha and Hallmark's Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Haunted by Murder.
You know, I found Frank Brunelli's body when I was in high school.
Oh, what body don't you find? That still doesn't explain why.
Rose's mother just bought the house Brunelli died in.
She's playing the younger version of your character, Aurora. I know you said, like, she doesn't really want to work that much together, but you guys got to do a couple more projects, right?
That would be really fun. I'm thinking, like, maybe I produce her next project. I think that would be great.
Okay, so Mary Lou Henner plays your mom in the series, and you shared a haunted house story with her.
We lived in a house that definitely had some bad juju in it, you know, and we had to cut our leash short and leave that house because there were some real creepy things that were happening.
Like what?
As soon as we left that house,
what happened?
We had alarms going off that weren't in the house. We had all kinds of presence that were being felt. And then we actually had illness in the house. And once we left the house, everything went back to normal.
I have goosebumps. I can't imagine.
That's crazy.
I know. Can they just tear down that house? Get rid of it.
Sage it.
I hope they do. You know the creepy thing? The people that moved into that house right after us stayed 1 week and moved out.
Stop.
Because they felt it too.
Wow. Okay.
I can't. Al doesn't believe in that stuff. I think you need to go to that house.
I told you, I'm starting to get on with the energy thing. I definitely, you've kind of brought me over to that side.
We're sending you to that house for 2 nights.
All right, I'll go.
Very scary.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah, Candace, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Haunted by Murder premieres this Sunday on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. We'll be right back. Thanks, Candace.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
At the Winter Olympics, nearly half of the sports required the use of snow. After all, what's skiing without the feeling of fresh powder? Chinese government officials are touting the snow this year, especially since nearly all of it was artificially created. That's led to numerous headlines blasting China for its reliance on snow-making equipment to host the games. So, let's verify. Are the Beijing Winter Olympics relying almost entirely on artificial snow? Our sources are the International Ski Federation, a study on artificial snow by the Sport Ecology Group, and Noah Malich, an associate professor of geography at the University of Colorado Boulder, who's an expert in snow hydrology. Using fake snow is extremely common in winter sports. 95% of ski resorts use it, and the International Ski Federation explicitly permits its use in competitions, like the Olympics. In most cases, fake snow supplements the real stuff, like during the 1980 games in Lake Placid, New York, which were the first Olympics to use it. Although Malich and the Sport Ecology Group say the reliance on fake snow is increasing, making it more than 80% of the snow used in the Sochi and Pyeongchang games, and now nearly 100% in Beijing.
This is the first time the Olympics have been held in a place that is entirely reliant on artificial snow.
So, it's true. The Beijing Winter Olympics is relying almost entirely on artificial snow. Malich says downhill events like alpine skiing will have a more consistent and faster course, but aerial sports like the halfpipe could be more hazardous to athletes who lose control.
Artificial snow tends to be a lot more dense, a lot icier, a lot harder, more like concrete once it's formed on the ground. Whereas natural snow can be more like a powdery snow, lighter and fluffier.
With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
For the casual hockey fan who only tunes in during the Winter Games, here are a few common terms. Face-off. This is how play begins. The puck is dropped between two players who try to gain possession. Power play. If Team A has a player in the penalty box, then Team B has more players on the ice. Team B has a power play. Blue line. Two blue lines cut the rink into 3 zones, the neutral zone and the end zones. Center line. The red line that divides the rink in half. Goal line. The 2 red lines that run the width of the rink and are lined up with the goal opening. Icing. If a player shoots the puck and it crosses the center line and opponent's goal line, that's icing. Offside. This is one of the most confusing rules for non-hockey fans. Basically, it means that if Team A has possession, then the puck must cross the blue line into Team B's zone before the attacking players do. If a player from Team A enters the zone before the puck, then Team A is offside. There are other nuances to offside, but that is the simplest definition.
Welcome back to DBL. It's Friday. I thought we'd do a couple corrections. It's Baz Luhrmann, not Boz.
Baz Luhrmann.
You know it's like Rihanna. I'm still saying Rihanna.
And Blackstone, it's Blackstock.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
No one likes it.
I called Gillian because that's what a G, Jillian.
I said Jill. We fixed that.
But there are some Gillians.
Should be canceled. What else?
What else?
They should still kernel like popcorn.
Friday.
Happy Friday. There's our corrections. I'm going into the weekend fresh.
Bravo.
All my sins.
Good job.
have been
Good job.
forgiven.